Hi everybody, my name is Callie Muniz and my major is criminal justice, but I'm hoping to further pursue once I go to a 4-year to analyze in blood splatter. And for those of you who don't necessarily know what blood splatter is, it is basically when certain people work in a lab and they analyze either the blood droplets or the splatter amongst a wall, carpet, floor, road, any sort of thing like that. But I would basically be analyzing the splatter of the blood, and with that I would be able to determine how much blunt force trauma was used or what type of weapon was used, or possibly if everything was set up to look seamed. So I would be like looking at the blood splatter to try to figure out exactly what happened in that scenario or what happened in that homicide. I don't really have a lot of hobbies, but the hobbies that I do have are basically sports, and I sing sometimes, only when I'm comfortable because I'm a very not outgoing person, but I love sports. My favorite sport is basketball, and I wish that I would have pursued in basketball, but I have more of a future in volleyball, I feel, so I feel like leaning more towards the volleyball side was the best decision for me. And so far it has worked amazing. We have won a state championship, and also in my old high school, I had won a section championship for the first time in our school history. So it was obviously a sign to possibly pursue farther in this rather than basketball, but I love sports in general. My most embarrassing moment would possibly be when I was about 7 years old and me and my mom were walking on this little hill type thing. And it's super slanted, but there was like a little blotch of water, nothing special, nothing major, but I wanted to go see it. So I pulled my mom down there, but I ended up going too fast. And when I did that, she just decided to let my hand go. So when she let my hand go, I flipped a few times and then after landed on my butt and slid down. But while I slid down, a branch was sticking out and had impaled me in my leg and actually cut my leg open. So that was probably the most embarrassing story that I have. My worst scar would probably be from my appendix, and around 7, probably after my first injury with my leg. I went through my first surgery, and then after that I had to go through 8 more because I just had a very big problem with my appendix and they couldn't necessarily figure out what was going on or what was causing the pain that I was feeling. So I would possibly say that that is the worst scar that I have at the moment. I'm originally from Arbuckle. That's where I had gone to school majority of my life, but I have moved to different places throughout it. But the second other place that I have been the most is Williams, California. And if any of you know like where Sacramento is, basically Arbuckle is about 45 minutes north of Sacramento, and from Arbuckle to Williams, it's about 15 minutes. So you just keep going from there. But those are basically the 2 places that I have lived at. I took this class basically because I needed it, but also because I want to enhance my learning abilities in being able to publicly speak and not be so shy and self-absorbed and kind of get out of my circle and be able to talk more, basically. My educational or life goals, I would say, is to get to a 4-year. That's probably one of my biggest goals because in my family nobody has made it past high school, and majority of them haven't even finished high school. So it's a big accomplishment to me, myself, to even be able to come to a JUCO and, you know, do something that the family hasn't done, let alone go to a 4-year and then further pursue in whatever path I take, either sports or through actual work. Either I'm completely okay with, but those are my goals, is just kind of get to a 4-year right now, ride that out and see where that takes me because I don't really necessarily know where I would go after that. And one very interesting thing about me is that I can shake my eyes, but it's something that you'd have to see in person, I would say. A lot of people think it's cool, a lot of people think it's kind of weird and gross, but what's super cool about it is for about 10 minutes, I can shake my eyes but fully function as a normal person. So I could be walking around shaking my eyes and I could still see everything and I could still function like I would if I weren't to do that. But that's basically some things about me. Thank you guys for joining in.